G'day, this is Captain Australia. I'm sorry that I fell off the radar for bits and pieces of yesterday afternoon. Even when I was trying to upload just simple pictures and whatnot, I had trouble. I was either in low or no service areas a lot. But yeah, yesterday afternoon I'm wandering along and this local farmer just waves me over. Says, "G'day mate, you want a cup of tea?" I'm like, the old me would have said, "Oh no, thanks very much, that's very kind of you, but I'll keep on walking." But new me said, I wouldn't refuse a cup of tea. So we wandered onto their lovely porch of their lovely old wooden farmhouse, sat down and had a cup of tea with his partner Taki. Mick says, "Morning mate," and mate says, "Morning Mick." Anyway, so we had a cup of tea and shared stories, and when it was time for me to move on, they invited me to stay. So I have had a night staying at Quentin and Taki's lovely farmhouse, which is back over that away. We were up until after midnight talking, so I didn't, although I slept like a baby when I went to sleep, which was good, like a good consistent 6.5 hours sleep, which is excellent. I'm still, feel a little bit tired, so I could use a coffee or something. But yeah, we're on the road to Coffs Harbour. So yesterday I covered about, I'll say, 33 to 35k. I was going to rest up at Grafton and just sort of have a take it easy day. Sorry, I hope you can hear me all right. But I decided instead to push south. So I reckon now we're about somewhere between 60 and 65k north of Coffs Harbour, and I'm going to continue down that way. So what is it for? It's Captain Australia's Big Walk. What is that about? Oh, we didn't have an intro song. Is he a hero? Is he a dork? It's Captain Australia's Big Walk. There we go, that'll do. So we got Coffs Harbour. I don't plan to make Coffs Harbour today, but I would like to put in a good 40 at least and pitch camp within striking distance of Coffs Harbour, so tomorrow I can just sort of do a morning jaunt into town and have the day there chilling out. Sleeping might be a bit tricky because it's a tourist spot, so you know there's more enforcement of people sleeping, dodgy camping on beaches and stuff. So I don't know, I'll just get a feel for that as I wind into town. But yeah, what is it? Captain Australia's Big Walk. What am I doing? Walking Brisbane to Melbourne. Who am I? I'm a stage 4 cancer survivor, but that is the thing that I do not want to define me. This is my way of rising above it. So I'm walking for my own personal healing, and I'm walking in service of a charity called the Kids Cancer Project. Kids Cancer Project is all about the 950 Aussie kids diagnosed every year with paediatric types of cancer. These are cancers that specifically attack children. 3 children, 20% of them don't survive, so 3 children every week die from paediatric cancer. So the research allows us to soften the treatments, make them better, cause less side effects. They don't go through the same sort of garbage I did subsequent to beating the cancer, and make them more effective in that they save more lives. So get that number down from 3 to 2, and then 1, and then 0 is the goal. So it's a great charity, and that's why I'm doing it. And now I'm going to cross a slightly busy country road, like there's no one on it now. And if the service poops its pants at some point, don't be shocked. Yeah, so I'm off to Coffs Harbour. I reckon today I'll aim to make another, I'll aim for 40 I reckon. I might exceed that, I might do a little bit under that, we'll see. But I think I'm starting to find my stride. Like my bag is heavier than it has been in days because I've still got some of the extra supplies that the two Johns gave me. There's extra water, extra food, emergency military rations, and awesome work, Bud, says Simon. Cheers, Simon. Thank you very much, mate. Redback says, the bloody rain has been hammering you, mate. Yeah, today it looks overcast. If it stayed like this all day, it's beautiful. It's cool, not too much sun, no rain. So we'll just have to see. Touch wood, he says. So yeah, I was going to hammer forward, hit Coffs Harbour. Well, camp before Coffs Harbour and then slide into Coffs tomorrow. And yeah, I think I'm starting to find my stride. Even with a heavier pack, I don't feel it as much. I do think maybe the inflammation thing had been lingering in me, but I'm starting to sort of just acclimate a bit. I'm a little concerned. So I have this thyroid medicine. The chemoradiation wrecked my thyroid. It's one of the reasons why I gained so much weight after treatment. So a year ago I was 140 kilos. But yeah, the thyroid medicine that I take, you're meant to keep it refrigerated. I've got it sort of tucked in one of those, you know, the cold bags that you get from the chemist, and tucked in the bottom of my pack. So it may still be okay, or it may still be just like, or it may have lost its efficacy, you know, so it may just be a tablet that does nothing. So we'll see. But when you go cold turkey on that stuff, well, A, your thyroid doesn't perform to the levels of a normal person, and B, you can start to get fatigue and stuff. So I don't know if that's been a factor or not. We'll just press forward either way, because I can't carry a fridge on my old back. So it's lovely country here. Look, check that out. That's most of what I'm seeing all morning. Oh, and a bit of that, and the old, you know, trucks and cars and whatnot. But yeah, I'd like to thank Quentin and Taki, the farmstead owners, for their hospitality and fellowship last night. They were wonderful. We talked for hours. I can't really tell you about what we talked about, because I don't know, it's kind of private stuff to them. And they were pretty, like, shy isn't the right word, but you know, just a solid country couple, a little bit reserved, but you know, honest as the day is long. So yeah, we talked about this, that and the other, life, death and the universe, and I had a lovely time. Taki cooked a meal. It was spaghetti, but mixed with sort of like curried meat and veggies and all of the rest, and a piece of steak as well. So I am well fed up. Captain Australia is fueled and ready to go. So, Coffs Harbour next, and I'll update you there. So what I'll plan to do is, in the middle of the day, I'll find a nice place to have a rest, and hopefully some good service. I'm shocked that I have this service right now, to be honest. Find a nice place to rest and some good service, and I'll spark up for a bit of a chat, see how everything's going. I wouldn't know if there were a nuclear strike in Tehran or something as it is. I have no idea what's going on with the world. So I'm just out here having my adventure, and I'm not plugged into anything. And that's the idea. Unplug, strip it all back, walk. It's a pilgrimage. So it's a daily, I mean, there's a physical ordeal to it. So it's daily toil combined with reflection and thinking and being out in the natural world and feeling all of this beauty, letting that wash over me. And it's healing. Wow, it starts with self-repair. You've got to clean the wound out a bit and then let it heal. And that's the process I'm going through currently. And this is what it looks like for me. Normal person probably just has a little once a week chat with a therapist for a few months and then gets over it. Anyway, I'm not normal. So walkie, wiggity walkie. Not much more to say really. But this is what your average morning on the big walk feels like. Down the side of a road, with a few exceptions. Sometimes it's down a beach. A couple of times it's been through a forest and a dead-end field. Now let's see, we got a comment. Murray, hey Murray, how you doing? You're doing great, he says. Meaning I'm doing great. Well, I hope you're doing great as well, Murray. I still carry your mother's blanket, so she's still with me, looking after the old fella and keeping me warm, mate. It continues to be my honour, privilege. Every time I use that blanket, I think of you, Donna, and your mum. So I hope you're well, and I thank you again for your kindness. I think you were the first in a series of incredibly kind encounters that I've had, really. So Murray in the Gold Coast, after I had a rough night in some rough weather, because I chose my tarp based on colour, it matched the kangaroos. It was just a birthday tablecloth that resisted the water only for a while and then shit itself, so I got soaked. And Murray showed up the following day with Donna, and they had a tarp for me and a blanket that belonged to Murray's mum, who he had sadly lost from cancer. And he asked me to take that with me on my own pilgrimage to get past cancer, and he felt that it was a way of honouring her, which I was deeply touched by. I thought that was wonderful. So there was that, and subsequently, yeah, people pull over and say, hey, do you need water? Thank you. That's so kind. There's all these little examples of little acts of kindness on the road. But then the next major one was Jo in Ballina. She was phenomenal and remains phenomenal. So I found myself in Ballina just sitting on a sort of like a fence, and I was just sort of moping because I was just missing my kids so painfully. And this nice lady plops up on the fence next to me, hands me a kombucha. You want a kombucha? Geez, mate, what's going on? And we just shared stories. And after we did, bang, fast friends. And she's a whirlwind. She's phenomenal. Like she said, mate, you just look like you need a good day. So my broken phone, which I was going to have to hobble into town to get fixed, I gave it to her, and she drove ahead and took it in there. So when I picked it up and paid for it, it was all ready to go. And she had arranged through a friend, someone who owns a motel, to stay at a motel. That's the Highcraft Motel in Ballina. And after a week on the road, that was just an island of joy, to be honest. And yeah, Taki and Quentin, and there's just so many examples of kindness out there in the world. And me, the natural me, would have said, oh, yeah, look, thank you, I'm okay. No, it's fine, I'm okay. And that's probably how I got into so much trouble after my cancer. Saying that you're okay when you're really not. You're slowly just falling to pieces day by day. But to everybody else, yeah, fine, thank you. So, you know, for me, one of the big lessons that I'm learning is say yes. It's like that Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man. Say yes all the time. Never discourage kindness, and be kind, and you know, reach out to the people around you. They're not you know, just hostile strangers. They're possible friends and neighbours, and kindness is something that we make together, and we can't do that together if we're not, you know, separate. Good morning, Captain, says Kelso. Yo, Kelso. Dawn Beverly Nash. Good morning. Good morning, Dawn Beverly Nash. How you doing? So I'm really humbled by the kindness and support from you as well. I noticed, like, I had absolutely zero reception for most of yesterday afternoon and last night, and there were remarks about concern. Look, haven't posted for a while. Are you all right? And I think that is just so sweet and humbling and kind. And it's also good to know, so if I did go down a cliff somewhere with a broken leg where there's no service, I reckon after a day and a half somebody's gonna call the SES or something, probably. Which is, it's just lovely to receive that caring. Anyway, so turn off 1 km for Mini Water and Woolly. Too small to read. That sounds like a nice little campsite on a river or something. But I'm pressing for the A1. So I think most of my afternoon is going to be lots of trucks, and you know, it's a heavy road. But I'd like to make most of the distance to Coffs Harbour today. So I'll say from now, without checking, so I should have checked before the stream, about 65k. If I'm really going to amaze myself and you, I'll power through and I'll get there tonight. But I think the strategic thing is to do a good solid 40, let the legs rest, and jaunt in tomorrow. So, we got another comment. Judy says, good morning, Captain. Captain says, good morning, Judy. How are ya? So, I might just leave it there and press forward. I'll get some breakfast in a couple of hours. I just like to push out a quick, you know, see if I can get a good quick 10k out or something. And I've still got all these SES military rations. I'll show you. So here in my utility belt, there's things like, you know, there's these little muesli bars and stuff like that. I have a sachet filled with spaghetti bolognese. There's assorted like chocolates and candies and energy-driven foods. Morning Cap says, is that Donna? Sorry, I'm wearing the sunglasses, not the reading glasses. Yeah, morning, Donna. And Di says good morning, Captain, as well. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody. Oh crap, it's Saturday today, isn't it? Yeah. So there's this guy from, it's West Bremer Radio, who did an interview last Saturday, and he said he wants to ring every Saturday and just do little updates. I have no idea how big the station is. He says it goes around the world, so maybe some of you are here because you've heard an interview on that. But I have to remind myself, he's going to ring later this morning, I think. So if it's 8:45 Brisbane time, it'll be 9:45 here. So I need to be ready for that and somewhere with service. Plan accordingly, Captain Australia. Travel safe, Captain, says Shirley. Hey Shirley, how are you? You're a lovely person, Shirley. I appreciate your kindness throughout this whole adventure. Dingerra Road. Okay, I might leave it there. Otherwise, I'm just going to do an old man ramble. Last night, before I met Quentin and Taki, I was walking down the road, singing to myself again. So I am continuing my slow decline into like hermit lunacy. So when you're by yourself all day, you start to get a bit lonely and entertain yourself. So Di says you'll find quite a number of dead service zones between there and Coffs. Thank you, Di. Yeah, I'll be mindful of that. And as the time of the interview approaches for this Bremer Radio, I'll just make sure that if I find a service zone, I'll stay there so that when he calls, I'm good. Yeah, okay, so Imogen, hello Imogen. Dawn says keep rambling. Okay, well what should I ramble about? I don't know. Okay, I'll tell you about yesterday I had this song in my head. I sang it to my wife in public. I serenaded her in public on our anniversary. I think it was our 12th anniversary. It was a surprise to her. So we went into there's this Chinese restaurant near the Mater Hospital in Brisbane. It's called Ben's, and they do karaoke, but they only do it on like Saturday nights or something. And we were just randomly going through South Bank, took the kids on the wheel of Brisbane and all that sort of stuff, and said, oh, let's go grab a Chinese feed. But I'd set it up that I had reserved a bunch of tables in there, and all her friends were sitting in there, and strangers as well. And we walked in, and at first she didn't notice, didn't twig, sat down, and then her friends we pushed all the tables together, and she started crying and realized there was a bit of a setup. And then she didn't know it was a karaoke restaurant, and it was a weeknight, so there was no karaoke going. But later I was able to duck aside, get a microphone, and because the place is all set up for the audio of it, and then just swagger out and sing to her in front of everybody. And she was weeping like a baby. It was wonderful. I loved it. I've never been much of a singer, but it's always, your heart, you put your heart into it anyway. Now the song was, I don't know much, but I know I love you. So there's a rendition by, what's his name? Aaron Neville and Linda Ronstadt. So I sang both the male and the female parts. What do we got there? Travel safe, Captain, and keep positive, says Mary. Yeah, I don't think there's much risk of not keeping positive, strangely enough. I think I've got it all together, which is great. So although come rain or sleet or snow, I'm all good, just muddling forward. But yeah, I thought that was a lovely moment. And that was after I'd beaten cancer, but before I'd dealt with the side effects and the psychological problems. Yeah, thanks, Murray. Such a beautiful story. Well, she's like I when I was in my 30s, I had no idea about love really. So I set out on that was my first proper quest to find her, and I did. And people keep comparing me to Forrest Gump. Like maybe because people want to join in with my walk, because he did a jog across America, or maybe because they think I'm a little bit slow of mind. whatever it is, there are other similarities as well. Because Forrest Gump, the love of his life, her name was Jenny too. And you know, he'd say stuff like, me and Jenny, we was peas in a pod. Well, that's me and my Jenny as well. And yeah, when we had our kids, it taught me what love meant, really. Like, she taught me about the fundamentals of love, and then children taught me about the masterclass, you know what I mean? So it was like, I don't know, when I first saw even a picture of my son in utero, I understood unconditional love just immediately. That adult love is transactional. I'll love you as long as you don't cheat on me. I'll love you as long as you know, don't drink all the tomato sauce or whatever. Don't change the channel on Wednesday night. So I will love you if. But with your child, it's not like that at all. It's I will love you no matter what. I will love you until my last friggin' breath, you know? And it's profound, it's unbending, and it's just a core truth. But once you learn that, you can apply that into the other loving relationships in your life. Must be amazing lady. She's where I am earth, she is fire. So yeah, very passionate, very, you know, she gets an idea in her head and bang, straight in there. So yeah, she's great. Anyway, I should sing you a bit of the song since nobody seems to care. So how was it? So it's like, look at this face, I know the years are showing. Look at this life, I still don't know where it's going. I don't know much, but I know I love you, and that may be all I need to know. So that's it. Sorry, it's hard to sing and walk and dodge traffic at the same time too. And yeah, I did that in public, and everybody sort of liked it, I think, or were polite enough not to boo. And yeah, for me, every word is true. I don't know much, but I know I love her. Anyway, off to Coffs Harbour, and let's see, no comments unanswered. All right, so this is Captain Australia's Big Walk. Thank you for your interest. I am the Yobbo superhero Captain Australia. I haven't got my flag up because it's really just one car every few minutes, so they can just sort of think I'm weird and maybe Google search, what's this dude doing? He's walking dressed as a superhero. Maybe they'll find the charity. But putting the bloody flag up when I'm not in a population centre, it's just that extra step too far, because the wind drags me back and it gets caught on trees and everything. So, off to Coffs Harbour, there's a sign up ahead. Yeah, I think I'm imminently about to join the A1. So it's going to be just a lot of noise and traffic. So this is the road behind us. And next up we've got, oh, here come some bikies. You want to see some bikies? Let's see these bikies. Hey, bikies. Look at Captain Australia's thumb. There you go. Broom, 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 broom. There you go, fellas. Stay safe, she says. Well, I'm here going broom, broom, broom at the big scary men on bikes. Yeah, I don't know that there's a guarantee that you can stay safe in an adventure, especially if you're a bit of an oddball like me. But yeah, I'm smart. But here's the thing, so when Quentin and Taki offered me fellowship and hospitality last night, they took a risk. Probably a really significant one given how unconventional I look. But we spoke, we understood each other, and we agreed, you know, we just said in our heads, we assessed each other as bang, completely safe. So your property, your safety is all good. And likewise, I took a risk. They might have wanted to, you know, chain me up and keep me in their sex dungeon under the farm. I don't know. So the thing is, after cancer, one of the things that I've decided in rebuilding my life is I will not be defined by fear of a dark outcome. I will choose hope of a positive one. And that's a significant shift for me in the way that I live my life. I've always been the prudent assessor of risk, you know what I mean? So now I'm going to throw myself out there with a bit more joy, I think. Anyway, life lessons from Captain Australia. Life lessons, Captain Australia. Alright, starting to get to a narrow bit of... My bit on the corner of the road here is getting a bit narrow, so I might end the stream so I don't accidentally wander into traffic or something. Thank you so much for your kind interest. If anybody has any questions or suggestions or whatever, drop them in the comments, and when I get a moment, I sit down and I think I'm doing a better job now of catching up. I think I've even looked at comments from a week ago and replied. It's important to me to, you know, recognize and respect. So we got here, David says, all of us are with you, you're not alone, mate. Thank you, mate. I genuinely feel your presence too. Sometimes it's like a little angel on my shoulder, just sort of riding along. No, I really do. You lift me up. Thank you very much. So I'll sign out there. All the best. Wish you well. Coffs Harbour next, but I'll be in touch at lunchtime and let you know where I am.